Okay, so this is 3. Multiplying, let's do an example. Now multiplying, we'll do 4.2 times 10 to the third times 3.0 times 10 to the negative fifth. Okay? So 4.2 times 10 to the third times 3.0 times 10 to the negative fifth. Now, again, 2 parts to scientific notation. First, the numbers, 4.2, 3.0. Second, the exponents, 10 to the third, 10 to the negative fifth. Let's do those separately. This is 4.2 times 3.0. 4.2 times 3.0 times 10 to the, now, notice we have 3, 10 to the third, times 10 to the negative fifth. When you multiply with the same base, you add the exponents. That means we're going to have 3 plus a negative 5. 3 plus a negative 5. Now, before we do that, let's do this over here. 4.2 times 3. Well, 4 times 3 is 12, and 0.2 times 3 is 0.6. So this is 12.6 times 10 to the 3 plus a negative 5 is 3 minus 5. That's negative 2. So 12.6 times 10 to the negative 2. But we can't leave it like that because notice we have a 12 here. Now this number in scientific notation can only be one digit. So it has to be between 1 and 9. 12 is greater than 9. We have to move this decimal over 1 to the left. Move this 1 to the left. We have 1.26. 1.26 times 10. Now, from before, we made this number smaller, so we have to make this number bigger. So if we move it to the left, we need to add 1. Well, negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. So this is 1.26 times 10 to the negative 1. 1.26 times 10 to the negative 1. So notice when you're multiplying, do the numbers out front first, and then do the powers. You're always going to add these powers when you're multiplying because the bases are the same, 10 and 10. Okay, and that's multiplication. Let's take one example of division. Now, division, 4. Same thing, let's divide 1.2 times 10 to the fourth over 1.6 times 10 to the negative third. Now just think about this for a minute. We're dividing a very big number. 1.2 times 10 to the fourth is 1, 2, and then 3 zeros. So 12,000. 1.6 times 10 to the negative third is 0.0016. Because we moved the decimal point 3 places. That's the 1 and 2 zeros. So this is a big number divided by a very small number. We're going to get an answer that's very much larger, a bigger number. Let's take a look. Do the same thing as multiplication. Deal with the numbers first, and then deal with the powers separately. So 1.2 over 1.6 times 10. Now notice we're dividing with the same base. So we have 4 over a negative 3. That means we need to subtract when we're dividing with the same base. So that's 4 minus a negative 3. 4 minus a negative 3. Okay? Now, 1.2 divided by 1.6. Well, that's the same as 12 divided by 16, which is 3 over 4. And 3 over 4 as a fraction is 0.75. So this is 0.75 times 10. Now 4 minus a negative 3 is 4 plus 3. Subtracting negative means a positive. So this is 7. So we have 0.75 times 10 to the 7th. Now, we can't leave it like this because, as you know, it has to have a digit on the left. So we have to have 4 point something, or 7 point something, or 1 point something. So we need to move the decimal over 1 to the right. That gives us 7.5. So 7.5 times 10. Now, we made this one bigger, So we moved it over 1 to the right, so we need to make this number smaller. Okay, it's like a balance scale. If we make this number bigger, which moving to the right makes it bigger, we need to make this power smaller. So if we moved it 1 over here, we have to drop 1 here. So 7 minus 1 is 6. So this answer is 7.5 times 10 to the 6th, which we expected, remember, always check your answers, we expected this answer to be bigger than either of these two. Is 10 to the 6th bigger than 10 to the 4th? Absolutely. Is 10 to the 6th bigger than 10 to the 3rd? You better believe it is. Negative 3 is a very small number. So our answer here is bigger than both of these, which makes sense because we have a big number divided by a very small number. We expect to get an even bigger number. So when you're doing any operations with scientific notation, make sure you separate out the numbers, 1.2 divided by 1.6, do that separately, times 10. Notice when you're dividing, you're going to subtract the exponents. Be careful of signs. If you're multiplying 1.2 times 1.6, multiply those out separately, and you're going to add the exponents. Dividing, you subtract. Multiplying, add. Final answers, make sure you get it in scientific notation, which means one digit to the left points something.